I don't know how well the balance is for the audio and stuff. I'm going to leave it as is, but if you guys feel like any element of it is too loud, go ahead and let me know. This being the first time we're looking at the game, there's going to be things we're going to have to adjust. I'm also not sure if the camera that I have, where it is right now, is optimal for this game. We'll see as we jump in. Now, I'm going to be starting a new game. We're going to go from completely scratch, and we're going to go from there. And if you didn't get the little bit of an intro here, because this is the first time I'm showing this game, I am going to try and give you guys a lot of information of like how the system works and what is going on, more or less. So this is going to be kind of like a tutorial for you, the viewer. I'm not going to say I'm an expert at this game because, again, I have a lot still to learn, but I put enough time into it to get at least an idea of what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so let's get into the thing. So first off, we have our difficulty. This is a very difficult game, and normal is the way this game is intended to be played. It literally says if you put it on the hardest difficulty here. I don't know how well you guys can read a lot of text. Now, I did blow up a lot of the text, so it should be more readable, but I am playing this in 1440p, and this game probably was not originally built for that kind of resolution, so some things will be a little on the small side, but the text should be readable for you guys once we get into the actual game. At least I hope so. But one of the things it says under dominating at the very bottom there in the last paragraph, we do not guarantee that the game can be completed in this mode, so choose at your own peril. That tells you all there is to know right there. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this game is the way experience works. There's two different ways you can do it. The first playthrough I did the classic system, and if you've ever played any other RPG system, this is going to be a system that's pretty much familiar to you. You'll get experience for killing enemies and using skills and what have you, like what you expect from a lot of other RPG games. If you use the oddity system, which from what I've read, this is the way the game is intended to be played, it doesn't quite work that way. So you will get experience for doing quests, although in my experience so far, it has not been a lot. Mostly how you get experience is by finding oddities. These oddities will be items that are scattered around the world. You'll get them from killing some enemies. This is what I did with my second playthrough. To be totally honest with you, I think that both systems are fairly well balanced, but the reason why the oddity system exists is because this game wants you to be able to play however you want to play. And unfortunately, the classic system rewards you more for certain styles of play. You get experience for killing enemies. Obviously, fighting is going to give you more experience than if you didn't. Whereas with the oddity system, yeah, you can get oddities from killing enemies, but you can find them around the world too. So if you want to play a more passive style, you want to be able to talk your way through situations, you're still going to get relatively the same experience. So it doesn't necessarily reward one play style over another. So that's the idea behind it, and that's why we're going to play with it, because it's the way that it's intended to be played. And again, I played it with my second playthrough. It seemed to work fairly well. It is different than what most people are used to, which is why I shied away from it on my first playthrough. But having played with it a little bit, it seems to work just fine. You level up at about the same points, seemingly, but also you can't really abuse it. All right, so we're going to go ahead and accept that. All right, now we have to pick our character. I'm going to name my character Mouse because I'm super creative. And then as far as the portrait goes, I have one that I am somewhat fond of, mostly because I don't really like the way that any of these guys look, so I go with one where you really can't see the face. There you have it. You don't know what I look like. Okay, we get 5 points to spend. Again, so far, this stuff is not really blowing you away as being something different than you're used to. We have pretty basic stats here: strength, dexterity, agility, constitution, perception, will, and intelligence. I'm going to go over each of them and what they do. Now, I was torn before I started this playthrough of what I was going to do. And by the way, hello T12, thank you for the advice on how it sounds. I had two ways to go with this. I was either going to play the playthrough that I was more familiar with, or the build I was more familiar with, which is mostly going for the gun type style. The other one I had thought about doing, but I have no practice with, is going with the psi build. So there's psionics in this game, and the best way to think of it is psionics is like this game's version of magic, right? I don't think that would be wise to do because I have never played that way, and again, this game punishes you for doing builds that are not optimal. And I already kind of know what the optimal builds are for the type of build that I've already like tried out a couple times. So we're going to go with that. So I have 5 points to spend. Strength is going to be used for being able to carry capacity. It's also going to help with your melee damage, that kind of stuff. There's going to be strength requirements for certain weapon types. Most of that stuff is going to be pretty self-explanatory. Dexterity is going to increase your critical strike chance of melee hits. High dexterity also reduces action point cost of unarmed and light weapons. So that's going to include pistols, submachine guns, knives, throwing knives, and fist weapons. It's difficult to ruin a psi build. Yeah. And honestly, the psi build sounds like it's fairly straightforward, so I don't know why I'm worried about it. But again, I know this build, so I'm going to go with it. Maybe we'll do another build. I mean, this is a long game, so it might take a while, but maybe we'll do a psi build another time. So dexterity is going to be important for us, especially early in the game, although we may go assault rifles and stuff like that later on in the game. We'll see. We'll just see how it goes. Agility is going to... we'll just read the whole thing. Agility represents characters' reflexes, fleet-footedness, as well as affinity towards other athletic and acrobatic activities. Among other things, it affects dodge, evasion, initiative, and movement points. It also allows the character to move more quietly, increasing the stealth performance. Now, there, I am really mostly caring about initiative and movement points. So agility is somewhat important to us. Dexterity is somewhat important to us. Agility is somewhat important to us. Constitution, again, pretty straightforward here. It is important for all types of characters, but especially for those who plan on making the armor suit their main defense. It also prevents or lessens the effects of poisons and diseases, and it gives you your health and what have you. Health and general standard of your character. Perception. This is going to be the most important skill for us, because we're going to be going off of ranged weapons here. Let's see. I'm going to skip the first sentence there. Well, it does tell you some important things. So it represents characters' ability to discern objects from far away, as well as to notice hidden things in their vicinity. So that's just kind of a bonus, but it's not necessarily what we're going for. It helps the character to use ranged weapons more effectively. That's what we're going for, as well as detect hidden objects, passages, and creatures. Will and intelligence are more important if you're going the psi build, especially will. As it says, it heavily affects all psi disciplines, as well as a psi point regeneration. Intelligence determines how well a character learns and reasons. It is important for a character that focuses on science, as all disciplines are dependent on it. It also affects psi point regeneration. So there, the sciences, this is where this is going to be somewhat important. So we're going to go with 1 point there. We're going to go with 2 points in perception, 1 point in agility, 1 point in dexterity. That's my build. I don't know if it's perfect, but it's what I've gone for so far. So our emphasis is on perception, but we're also hitting a couple other things that are somewhat important for us. Now we're going to go with skills. Now these are going to be for specific abilities. We're going to put a bunch of it. We start with 120 points. We can max out at 15 for anything. So we're going to put our max thing into guns. Guns are going to work with firearms, pistols, SMGs, rifles, so on and so forth. Throwing. This is another thing that's very important for us, because we need good crowd control, and throwing is going to give it to us. We're going to skip these other two things, because specializing is pretty important. As much as I'd like dodge and evasion, we really just can't afford it, so we're going to ignore it. Stealth is another thing. I'd like to have it, but we got to specialize, so it's going to be ignored. Hacking and lockpicking, on the other hand, I like getting into things and being able to loot. You might have seen that in Deus Ex when we were playing it. So we're going to max out hacking and lockpicking. And we're going to keep that maxed. Traps is another thing that we're going to buff up. I don't know how many points I'm going to put in this at first. Let's just put 5 in, and then we'll go from there. But we also have pickpocketing. Not really interested in that. Mechanics. These skills, the technology skills, are all for crafting. Most of these are pretty self-explanatory on what they're going to craft. And not only that, when you're crafting an item, it'll tell you what skills you need. So mechanics is going to be pretty important for us. We're going to be wearing armor. At least that's the game plan. I will not be able to wear metal armors because that has high strength requirements. So we'll see how that goes. But the one thing that I kind of noticed when I first played, I did go strong on dodge and evasion, but I was noticing that it wasn't really helping all that much. We were getting hit more often than not. Maybe I'm wrong in my thinking, but... So I'm going to max out mechanics. I don't know if I'm going to max out tailoring. We'll see how many points I have left, because the other thing I want to be able to do is I like to talk my way through things. So I'm going to max out persuasion and mercantile. Now, there is an element of synergies. I guess I haven't really talked about that yet, but you'll note under the skill mercantile at the bottom, it tells you what ability is going to play into it, but also at the bottom it has synergies. So persuasion is a synergy, and imagine that the synergy for persuasion is mercantile, so they play into each other. So there you have it. The last thing we have to put in, I think I'm gonna go with the tailoring for the rest of the thing. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think stealth is good and helps you a bit. But again, I'm trying to specialize here, so I did do this build and it seemed to work out okay. Maybe it won't be good in the long term, but I guess we'll find out, huh? All right, now for our feats. Okay, so there's a lot of feats here, and there's going to be, I have two choices. One is very key for this, aim shot. What this is going to do is his ability, it does have a cooldown, but you can perform an aim shot with any single target ranged weapon for a guaranteed critical hit. This is very important. So we need that. Now my second thing, I was kind of torn on. There's a lot of things that will help us, like Sure Step is going to be good later on, because I will plan to use caltrops pretty heavily. We don't need it right now, though. Strafe might be good, but I don't know if the 15% penalty, like, if reducing it by 15% is as important as it sounds. I used this on my first playthrough. I really didn't notice that much of a difference on my second playthrough, so I don't know if I'm going to prioritize that. I did take Paranoia. This seemingly is pretty good, so it increases our detection, gives us initiative. I think initiative is pretty important in this game, and a chance to get critically hit by a weapon and unarmed attacks is reduced by 3%. Hey, that means less crits on us. Also, your weapon and unarmed damage is increased by 30% against stealth targets. I haven't run into a lot of this yet, but hey, it might be important. What else do we have? Now, what I will eventually get is expertise for sure. This is going to help us as much now, but what it does is for every level that we have, it adds on to our bullet-based firearm damage. So your non-critical crossbow, melee, and bullet-based firearm attacks deal additional mechanical damage, which is the type of damage that firearms will do, equal to your level, up to a maximum of 20 bonus. So this will get better and better as we play through the game. I don't know if on first level we need it necessarily. So yeah, we're gonna go with Paranoia here. Okay, Paranoia and aim shot. All right, so we have our build. Let's go. I didn't run down all the choices, but okay. So there's going to be an intro. I will play through this, but I will not do the tutorial because I've already played it, and you'll learn a lot of how this stuff works. Hey, Pug. All right, last topic of course, earthquake repairs. And I hope you guys can read this okay. I have blown up the text as much as I can. What's the situation at the South Tunnel? Gotta dig deeper to plant the explosives or risk more damage to the tunnel. Almost everyone is working shifts up there. Shouldn't be too long now. He nods. Gorski, how's the security looking? Got one man at the cave exit, and that's enough as far as I'm concerned. Automated security is strong there, and as long as we know the crossroad and the cove are clear, no one could sneak up on us. Also, got one man at the underpassages, and he's been ordered not to open the gate no matter what. The last thing we need right now are those bloody lurkers sneaking up on us. Yeah, watch out, lurkers. Everyone else is up at the platform securing workers and tunnels. Good, good. If no one has anything else to add, that will conclude the council meeting. Actually, just one more thing. In case you weren't informed already, I admitted a new citizen to the station. That mouse fellow? He? Yes, I think he'll be a good addition to this station. He and Venzel are still at the range, but they should be done any moment, I believe. Any moment now, I believe. You put too much trust in your tests, Tanner. All I care about is how he handles live action, not how many points he got. Well, we'll find out soon enough. Best put him to work immediately. We need all hands on deck right now. Indeed. That is all, Vera. Gorski? Okay. So we're going to be in tutorial land, and we'll promptly tell the guy we don't want tutorial land. All right, so this is Wenzel. An unexpected yawn interrupts Wenzel. He instinctively raises his left hand to cover his mouth, forgetting that he is wearing a respirator. A tiny smile creeps up on your face due to this very fact. Yet you understand that after so many hours of testing, these kinds of lapses tend to sneak up on people. Excuse me, all in all, Mouse. As far as I'm concerned, we're done here. I've got a few other things to do, but unless you'd like to have another go at testing range, you have no reason to stay here any longer. So we could go at another round and that'd be your tutorial. So if you've never played this game, that's how you'd learn some of the mechanics. But I'm feeling pretty tired, and it's hardly a secret you are too. Besides, I can't wait to check up on my new room. Oh, you know what? We'll say this. How do I compare to the other newcomers, Wenzel? I can tell you that, I can't tell you that, Mouse. We're going to use our persuasion skill, though. Persuade. Come on, man. I'll stay between... It'll stay between you and me. He yawns again. Excuse me. Well, if you really want to know, your score was below average. What? Only below average? But how? He laughs. I was joking. You scored highly on most of our tests. Of course I did. As soon as we're done here, I'll be sending them to Tanner. I think he'll be pleased. So, are we done here, or... Yeah, so now we'll say this and go to our room. I have no doubt you'll like it. I have yet to see any newcomers complain. Nothing more to say than congratulations again, Mouse, and welcome to Southgate Station. Go and get some rest. See you around, Wenzel. Okay, here we are. Let's first turn on some light. We got the light switch. Now, one thing that's kind of cool with this game, if you hold in the tab key, you get all the things you can interact with. You hold the Z key, you get a reverse of that. Now, this is helpful in case things are like... All right, the personal computer desk is probably a good example of that. So you see the order of the lettering? If I do tab, it should be the opposite order. So, let's go ahead and open up everything. Some of these things will be empty, but we might as well make sure. And once they're empty, it will say Foot Locker empty. So that's good. Oh, let's look at that. This colorful mosaic doesn't seem to represent anything in particular. What could it mean? It's a hanged rat. Maybe it's foreshadowing. Open up our desk. Hey, there we go. We get a compass, credits, and private quarters key card. Okay, so security scope, mouse, personal. Access level full. Alright, personal message. New personal messages, too. Let's do this one first. Read message, key card from Wayne. Title key card, author Wayne. Hi, I fixed your doors, so the key card should work fine now. If you haven't found it yet, the key card should be in your desk. See you around. Okay, welcome from Tanner. Welcome, author Tanner. Congratulations, you have passed all the tests we presented you in the past weeks and have now obtained full citizenship in Southgate Station. On behalf of the entire community, I welcome you into our fold. Visit me in my office in the Commons as soon as you've rested so we can discuss your duties in the coming days. Hey, Ryo Sayaka. I'm probably sure I just butchered your name. I apologize. Welcome to the suffering that is UnderRail. Yeah, I've played a little bit so far. I played about 20 hours to get prepared for this. Okay, so visit my office in the Commons as soon as you've rested so we can discuss your duties in the coming days, if I didn't already say that. Alright. So, if we open up our little notebook here, talk to Counselor Tanner at his office in the Commons, level 3. Now, alright, I'll give you guys a little bit of a heads up. So with this game, you are not given, like, quest markers like you're maybe used to in a lot of modern RPGs, and I'm also noticing my head may be covering stuff up. I'm not sure if there's a corner I can put my head, though. Maybe the middle? I could put my head up in the upper middle here. I don't think that will cover up anything. I'd have to think about that. It's covering up a whole bunch of stuff right now, though, so let me move it here. Hopefully that's like roughly in the middle. I'm hoping that doesn't cover anything up, because just about everywhere else you've got interface. There's interface over in the upper left, upper right, lower right, lower left, so I don't want to cover any of that stuff up. Okay, so we're looking at my inventory. Oh yeah, what I was saying, that so there's no quest markers in this game. They'll give you directions, sure. You have to figure out how to follow it. Well, if I put it up in the upper left, Pug, I guess I could put it just below the character portrait. That's not a bad idea. Yeah. Because if we put it on top of the character portrait, you won't be able to see my health. That's probably decent there. Let's just make sure you guys can see the health pop up. Yeah, okay, cool. Alright. This is my inventory. I don't have a lot in it. I just have shirt and pants. We'll get better stuff as we explore our lockers and stuff here. We've got some medical items. We got bandages and health hypos. Let's turn on the light. Okay, and then we got mechanical repair kit, patching kit, flares, and a rat hound leather overcoat. We'll take all those things. Now the overcoat. Ooh, so there's a little bit of randomization. Yes, it is on normal. I'm kind of still learning the game, although I have played it about 20 hours. The first playthrough was just learning the mechanics, and second playthrough was just kind of verifying that that I've understood the mechanics. So this is my third playthrough, more or less. But the second one didn't get very far, nor did the first one, really. So we're not super experienced with the game, but I get a good idea. So this is our armor. So let's just read over this really quickly. So we've got mechanical and cold. So the first thing is going to be your damage resistance. The other thing is going to be, after the slash, is your damage threshold. So what this means is one or the other will apply. So whichever is higher. So if 16% reduction of the damage coming in would be higher, then that's the thing that applies. If the threshold of 3 would be higher, then that applies. So it goes either or. Depending, having a high threshold could be advantageous in some situations, and having a high damage resistance can be advantageous in certain situations. So it depends on what you're going for. Usually speaking, low damage attacks, you want to have a high damage threshold. High damage attacks, you want to have a high reduction. So that's a way to approach it. Now, this armor has a couple abilities on top of it. First off, it has persuasion decreased by 3, and that's because of what it says in the description here. This overcoat is made of rat hound leather. No matter how hard you try to wash it out, the faint stench of this filthy creature remains. So it smells bad, so that's why we lose a bit of persuasion by wearing it. But we do gain stealth skill by wearing it because it's an overcoat. It very kind of got a little bit of interesting luck here, because normally it's just a normal rat hound coat. It's not an overcoat. So that's nice. Now, the patching kit is going to repair armors like this if we need to. It does have a durability to it, so 240 out of 240. As we get attacked, this will go down, and we can use the patching kit to repair it. Similarly, we have a mechanical repair kit, which will repair any weapons that we have that would need repairs. And there's other kits as well, electronic kits and so on. Now, the bandages can only be used out of combat. You have to have 40% of your health or higher, I believe. Health must be over 40%, yes. But it does heal a lot, 140 damage. Right now, we only have 90 hit points. So the fact you can't use it in combat is the main limiting factor of this ability, or this thing. The health hypos, on the other hand, are the thing you're going to be using the most often. This gives you 80 health right away, and you can use it in combat. So we're going to just go ahead and stick that in our little bar down here. We also want to grab any abilities that we find important. So I'm going to go ahead and take the aim shot. We'll put that down here. You know what? Let's move this over a little bit. Put stealth over. We definitely want the burst. Stealth we'll put here. We might move around things on our bar right now, but what we're looking at is we have whatever our primary attack is going to be in 1. Our special ability aim shot. Now we'll get more special abilities as we get more feats, but for right now we just have the aim shot, and then burst would apply if a weapon has that ability. So we aren't going to start off with a weapon that has it, but we might as well have this in our hotbar for the meantime. We also have stealth down here, and then whatever items we want to put down here, we can also put down here. I put the compass, and the compass is just going to let us know where things are, because sometimes you'll just have go north. Well, there's north. North is always going to be over this way. South is always going to be over this way. West, east. So the compass helps a little bit if you ever need that little bit of help. All right, let's get out of here. All right. Now, as per normal in any RPG, we're going to loot everything that's not nailed down. So anytime we have an opportunity to interact with anything, we will. No, all these rooms are going to be locked. I don't know for sure. I think a red hand means that this is somewhere you're not authorized to be. Somebody in the chat can probably clarify that. But most of these doors are going to be locked anyway. I think there's some bathrooms, perhaps. Maybe up here? Yeah. There's bathrooms up here. There's not going to be anything in them, but... Oh, also you can speed up time if you feel like something's moving along too slow, which is nice. I like that mechanic. So you got your showers in here. And sinks and all that. This is pretty much your bathrooms. Oh, well, we'll shut that up. There's not really anything important in there. All right, let's go to the elevator. So we know our quest is going to be given to us on floor number 3, because that's what our notepad said. So we're going to go to the Commons Cantina. But this is everything we have here. Southgate Station, if you've ever played the Fallout games, the best way to think of this is like a vault, right? If you ever played the original Fallout 1, it's not really like a vault, but that's a way to think about it. This is like you're starting Fallout 1 when you're inside the vault. It's a relatively safer area, and so on. All right, let's go to the Commons Cantina. All right, so there's the cantina. We're not going to talk to anybody just yet. But we got plenty of things maybe to loot here. I know most of the stuff is going to be empty, but we'll take a look at it nonetheless, unless it's red. Get a pry bar and loot everything that's nailed down. That's good advice. Alright, so here's Tanner. We saw him in the little cutscene. Yeah, all this stuff is red. The man behind the desk is Hadrian Tanner, a counselor who admitted you into Southgate Station. Even during your first encounter with him, he struck you as an unusual-looking individual. Setting aside his impressive stature, one finds it difficult not to notice how his thick, bushy hair and beard envelop most of his head. In addition to his opaque glasses covering his eyes, which you've never noticed him without, means that you can see very little of his face and its expression. His somewhat dirty scavenger outfit, which he wore earlier as well, clashes with the clean, finely furnished office, suggesting that Tanner probably does most of his work in the field. As soon as he finishes typing, he raises his head and reaches out to shake your hand. His big hand, tucked into dark brown gloves, makes yours seem like that of a child in comparison, and you especially feel his large fingers to be twice as thick as yours. His deep voice feels distant and calming when he addresses you. Congratulations once again, Mouse, and welcome to our small community. You scored very well on our tests. No small feat that. I'm sure you'll turn out to be a valuable and respected citizen, but more importantly, I hope you'll find peace and kinship here, which are so hard to come by in the chaos surrounding us. Alright, so we got a few different things here. I'm going to say I'll try my best not to disappoint. That's good to hear. I hope the earthquake didn't disturb you much and you were able to rest a bit from all the testing, for you have much work to do today. Events have transpired that require your attention. Are you ready for such field work? Alright, let's see what we got here. As ready as I'll ever be. What's the plan? First, you can have your weapon back. Lucas at the armory should have it. And while you're there, might want to drop by the shooting range. Since you'll be doing some field work today, it might not be a bad idea to warm up in case things get ugly. Speak to Gorski if he's there. He'll help you set up for some practice sessions. However, that is entirely up to you. Understood. What was the field work you mentioned? Down the tunnels below our station, just to the north of the Crossroad Caves, lies a series of abandoned outposts. These outposts were built by another station a long while ago for the purposes of scouting and defense. In time, they fell to decay. I want you to retake them so they might once again serve the same purpose. However, in order to do so, you will need to activate the main power generator that's located inside one of them. Harold from the engineering sector thinks he knows how to get the generator operational, so he should be your first stop after we are done here. As far as I'm aware, there are a total of 5 outposts plus the one with the generator. I don't know if it's possible to activate all of them, but try to activate at least 3. May also want to talk to Jonas at the Crossroad Watch Post. It's down in the tunnels just outside the station. You'll be passing through there anyway. He's one of our most experienced scavengers, and he's probably seen more of South UnderRail than any of us here. He'll surely have some useful advice for you. How well is this task credited? Might as well find out, right? It's 300 credits, additional 150 credits if you activate all the stations. By the way, the game does not track that for you, so you got to figure that out. Furthermore, you get to keep anything you find there. Why are we retaking the outposts? It's an important strategic position should certain factions attempt to encroach further into our zone of control. Besides, cleaning them out will also push some of the unwanted wildlife further away from SGS. So it is also beneficial in that regard. Remember those rat hounds? Wildlife? I understand that a few packs of rat hounds, wow, moved into the area, but you best talk to Jonas regarding that. He'll have more details. He knows the area inside and out. Imagine that, in an RPG, our first task is to kill giant rats. That's never happened before. Alright, I'll be off then. Oh, and one more thing before you go. Pascal, our station's chief physician, wanted to see you, so you should probably pop down to his office in the medical sector when you have the time. So Pascal's going to ask us about whether or not we want psionics. We're going to tell him no. There is an upside and a downside. The upside is you're pretty much a wizard. The downside is you take a hit to your health, your maximum health. So we're not going to do that for this playthrough. Got it. See you later. We also didn't build a character for it anyway. Alright, so he's told us a lot of things. Our notebook will track some of it, but not all of it. For example, it tells us to talk to Harold on the engineering level. That we need to do if we need to repower things. But also the medical level tells us about. But didn't tell us about Lucas, so that was something that we need to keep up here. So this is one of those games where you really have to pay attention a little bit. Alright, let's come in here. I know these boxes are empty, but yeah, we might as well take a look at them nonetheless, in case I've forgotten. There could be something in one of these boxes, you never know. I don't think there's anything in here, but hey, we looked at it. Go ahead and pop in here. I do know there's stuff in here. Particularly on this shelf. You got cave hopper meat. Now we could use this for a quest, but cave hopper meat is not really that hard to come by. So I think we're just gonna sell it. Because we're gonna need as much money as we can get here. Underground hobo wizard, yeah, exactly. Alright. I don't think there's anything in these footlockers, but it's not red, so we can take a look at them. Alright, we might as well meet some people in the cantina here. We'll talk to Arlene here first, as she's the one that runs the cantina. Met Arlene during your testing period. She's in charge of food preparation and rationing. Ha! We used to make fun of Tanner's stupidly high standards when admitting new people. Not the end of the world if we get someone imperfect, we said. And here you are, bringing us earthquakes on day one. Well, we got a persuade thing, and we build a persuade character, so we gotta use it whenever it's there. Hey, couldn't have been. I'm perfect. So, do I get to eat some real food now that I'm a citizen? Oh, aren't you a joker? Don't remember hearing you complain before. So, what do you need? So we've got all kinds of things to talk to her about. We might as well. Let's get all that flavor. Who's that dandy over there? She's talking to this dude. We'll talk to him a little bit. He's not going to be all that important to us, to be totally honest with you, because he's more about psionics. Also, this is the expansion, in case I haven't made that clear. I guess I haven't. I do have the Expeditions expansion, which just came out a month or two ago. So he's one of the additions, is this character. Because they added a new tier of psionics, as well as a whole new area to play in. So there's definite additions to this game because of that expansion. So who's that dandy over there? Over there? That's Ethan Lanford. Why do you call... What can you tell me about him? He's a handsome man, huh? Comes to SGS from time to time. Always dressed as sharp as a razor. He's always flirting with the ladies. No exceptions. I've seen him entertain quite a number of them. Well, myself included. With some unusual psionic tricks. Well, he's a a temporal manipulator. That's one of those psi abilities, but the thing he does, I've never seen anyone else do before. He can manipulate time, but only for specific objects, like slowing down a fly so it moves its wings in slow motion, or making things hover in air, that sort of stuff. It's all parlor tricks, fun and unusual, good to attract the ladies. His good looks and charisma make them stick around, though. That's his real magic, hmm? Know anything else about him? Where he's from? What he does? Not much. He's talkative, but reveals a little about himself. When you think about it, no one knows where he's from or what he does. He usually comes alone. Maybe leaves with a girl, maybe not. Depends. Always drinks fizzy water, yes. Has that temporal manipulation thing going for him. And that's all I know, really. Oh yeah, dresses as sharp as a... Oh wait, I said that already. Alright, well, let's talk to her about other stuff. So what else is new besides the earthquake? Oh, actually, so how bad was it, the earthquake? Might as well. For us, not that bad. The south tunnel collapsed, so the train is out for a while. The station itself didn't suffer any major damage as far as I know. I heard it's much worse up north. Something about a Union's freighter crashing and getting buried on a side rail near Core City. Man, I can already imagine all the vermin crawling out of their holes to take a bite of that cake. And I'm not talking about the rat hounds. So what else is new besides the earthquake? Of course he's gathering up his squad. Don't know what they're up to, but they're armed. Got any rumors? Rumor has it there are quite a number of people sitting outside United Stations Embassy and Junkyard. Guess they've been feeding them good. Alright. We'll get intel on what some of that stuff means later, but let's barter with her. That's what we're really here to do. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to trade with her. Now, one thing that will kind of throw some of you off is the credits are not worth one apiece. They're worth various amounts. There's also different currencies in this game as well. SGS credits, or the South Station. This only really applies here. So it's worth 10 a pop. Its value is 10 a pop. So whenever you're looking at the value of an item, in this case, these are worth... The total value of the two that we're selling is 100, but they're 50 a piece. So, that kind of gives you a little bit of idea. Now, there'll probably be, an increase in cost for the same item from a dealer than when you sell it, but, that's just par for the course. I do want to buy something from her. In particular, I want to buy one cave hopper steak. Now, why do I want to buy this? When consumed, increase agility by 1. Consuming food will remove effects of previous meals. So you can't stack a lot of food on top of each other. And this will only last 20 minutes of game time. This is a turn-based system, so they do convert to turns once you get into combat. But it's got a limited duration, although relatively long. But it will be important for something else we're going to do later on. So let's go ahead and spill it out. I will say that the bartering system is a little clunky. It takes a little bit of getting used to. It works okay once you get the keybinds down. So we have an imbalanced trade. Right now, this person won't do the trade because it's on the refuse side. We got refuse and accept. So we want to balance out the trade. Now you could do that manually by putting credits in here or something else you wanted to trade, but thankfully the game makes it easy on you. You can just press the auto button and it will always automatically balance it to the minimum level that would be required if you were to use credit to do that. It works for both your inventory and the shop owner's inventory either way. So it does make it a little more easy to use. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to get a little bit of reduction of cost of the cave hopper steak, but we at least get it. So let's trade that. We're going to be using a lot of our currency initially. We will get the currency back once the quest is over, but we're going to prepare as much as we can for the quest where possible. Okay, most of these people are just going to have canned dialogue, so they're not really all that important. The people that we really want to talk to, I think even Wenzel here, who was a person that gave us our test, is just canned dialogue right now. Ethan, we can talk to. He's that temporal dude we were talking about. There's also this dude in the corner. I'm not going to talk to him yet, though. He'll be important later. For you is a handsome young man whose attire portrays him as someone who prefers charm over harm. Whether his looks deceive or not, though, is a question that has yet to be answered. In his hand, a glass of fizzy water. He calmly addresses you. May I help you? Ooh, we've got him at a decent disadvantage here. Are you Ethan Lanford? And you are? Let's see. I want to be polite. So I definitely want to address what my name is. I'll just say Mouse. I'm recently moved to the station. Good, good. Yes, I'm the man you need. What can I do for you? So we can ask him about temporal manipulation. I really don't care. Anything interesting going on? Not much, unfortunately. The cave-in has us all trapped in here, so like a lot of the people, I'm waiting for the tracks to get cleared before I can move on. But it's not much of a problem. I've always liked this place. So you're the traveling type. He takes a sip of his fizzy water. Yeah, let's just say I travel a lot. What do you think of the South Gate Station? I've been here before, many times, and will return again if time allows. Apparently the ladies are well worth coming here for. There are places where more fun can be had. Nothing tops Core City in that regard, at least not in the South Underrail, but Southgate Station is a place which I find most relaxing. It is a safe, well-defended station with civilized citizens. The earthquake sort of forced me to stay here, but I don't mind. Moreover, I'd rather be stuck here than at some low-life infested bar worrying whether someone is going to stab me in the back. And in the Underrail, that's a real possibility. Where will you be going after the rocks have been cleared? I'm thinking Core City, probably Core City, but the life of a traveler is an unpredictable one. Why are you drinking fizzy water? Might as well find out the most important topic here. Water is the best drink. The fizz simply makes it a bit more interesting. I don't know if I agree with you on that, but alright. No other reason. Alright. I have to go. We're not really into psionics, so we're not going to really ask him about that stuff. Alrighty. So we have many places to go. I'm trying to think priority-wise. I mean, we really want to hit almost a good chunk of the dealers. Let's go to the armory first, though. Because we'll get our gun back. That's kind of important. Gorski's over here. We saw him in that little cutscene in the intro. He's kind of an asshole, and we'll be able to talk to him later. Hey, you know what? Let's talk to him. The tall, imposing figure of this battle-scarred veteran towers before you. You met Gorski before. He is one of the counselors that interviewed you when you first arrived. You passed all of Tanner's little tests and exercises. That could not have been easy, but don't think you're some kind of hotshot now. You're yet to deserve the privilege you've been given. I'll just say, I understand. He nods. So why are you here? I don't really want to do target practice. First off, I don't have a gun, so that's not going to happen. There you go. We got an intro to the guy. Alright. Let's go talk to Lucas and get our gun. A short man rises from behind his desk with a grenade case in his hands. The heavy case meets the top of his desk with a thud, raising your eyebrows, which in turn makes the man's face turn into a smile. He removes his glove and shakes your hand with a strong, perhaps too strong grip before addressing you. Don't worry, Mouse. I ain't gonna blow us up. Nope. Anyway, Wenzel told me you'll be staying with us for a while. Guess so. Oh, friend. Make yourself at home. Can I have my weapon back? Kind of important. Of course. It was the, 5mm pistol and some ammo, if I recall correctly, right? This one. He produces a pistol that is in such bad condition people would pay to get rid of it. So we have many choices here. We have non-persuade choices, which we were not going to do, of course. It was a 5mm pistol, but not that one. 5mm pistol? I came here with a 44, man. That's probably the choice we're going to take here. It wasn't a gun at all, it was a machete. So you have choices here if you don't want to run with guns. You can go with other stuff. Obviously, some of these things require you to have persuasion to get upgraded, more or less. But if you don't have the persuasion, you either get a 5mm pistol, a crossbow, or a knife. Let's try this. I know it's not going to work, but a pistol. I had a bloody shotgun. What? One of his eyes half crosses while the other tenses up. No, seriously, is this your pistol? 5mm. I came here with a 44, man. Then whose? Oh, this has got to be Newton's gun. My bad. Here you go. He hands you your weapon. There. With that out of the way, may I interest you in a couple more things? I'm not sure if I want to buy anything from him yet. Okay, so things that we need. We need lockpicks. We need a hacksaw, which gives us the ability to hack. So those two things are pretty high. We also have to buy a battery to be able to charge the hacksaw because it uses battery charge. So those are our main things that we need. I think we'll be able to get by without anything else. Other things would help, but I guess we might as well take a look at what he's got. All right, so there's some things I need to kind of like lay out to you guys. Oh, my head's covering up the barter screen. Yeah, guys, I honestly think the top of the screen is really the only place that you're going to be able to, we're going to be able to get away with here. I'll put it like, you know what? Let's put it right here. I don't think it's covering anything up here. There we go. There, now you guys can see the barter screen. I'm sorry I missed that earlier. So one thing that's really important to point out, if you've never played this game, and this kind of confused me the first time I played, I am currently looking to buy. This is important to read. One thing that is going to throw you off in this game is if you've ever played any other RPG, you go to the weapon guy and the weapon guy will take any weapon you got. Not how this game works. Dealers will only buy things that they're currently looking for. What they're currently looking for will change over time. Whatever a set time they're looking for set things, and those things are in set numbers. So I can only sell him 4 firearms. Once that number is exceeded, he won't take any more. And this is an example. So he will buy 4 melee weapons, 2 crossbow parts, boot components, boots, belts, leather armors, grenades. He will always be looking for bullets or shells and regular bolts. Note that he didn't say a crossbow. So if I find a crossbow and try and sell it to him, he won't buy it. Unless he's specifically looking for it. So that's one thing to like kind of pick up on. That's really important. Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, he's got a lot of things to offer to us. Bunch of ammunition. The ammunition is going to be dependent on what weapon we have. So we have a 44 right here, 44 hammerer. So that's going to take standard 44 rounds. We really cannot afford more of these because they're really expensive. It's actually one of the most expensive ammo types. I'm sure there's more expensive ones out there. Yeah, some of these more high-power rifle rounds are more expensive. But as far as the pistol rounds go, it's pretty much as expensive as it gets. Yeah, 7.62 is a lot cheaper. 5mm, I believe, is like the cheapest stuff. Yeah, it looks like it is. There's also varying ammo types. So you've got the standard round, you got hollow points, and you've got the W2C, which is like an armor piercing. So yeah, there's varying types of ammunition, and they'll have various effects. We have different armors and all that. We'll get into a lot of that stuff in detail. There's blueprints, so there's a crafting system. You can't craft anything unless you have the blueprint for it. So we do have the skills to be able to craft, but we don't have the knowledge yet. So we have to find blueprints or trade for them. And then we have a lot of crafting items that you can use as well. The various weapons and what have you. We really can't afford too much, especially as we're going to be buying some other things. We might come back here a little later and see what we can buy, because this stuff should be the same next time we come back here. There's going to be some other traders we'd rather go to right now. The important thing is we got our gun. Let's go ahead and equip our gun. And we're going to need to feed it with ammunition. There's a couple different ways you can do that. You can do it just by right-clicking on stuff. There is kind of like a wheel interface for a lot of things. So we could do it this way. We click on reload weapon, and we hover over the weapon, and then we can reload it that way. Another way we can do it is through keybinds, which is honestly the more easy way to do it. You hold in the shift key, and you'll note down here, these are the different ammo types that I could have. Potentially, right now I only have the standard round, so if I hit shift Q, that would give me a reload. So a couple different ways to do it. I find the shift Q way to be much easier to do. And you can do that while you're in combat and other things and not really have to open your inventory screen up. And that's the ideal. I don't think there's anything we can loot down here. All this stuff is red, I believe. And we can't get over here. At least I don't think so. I guess we could walk up to the door. I don't think I've ever been able to get in there. Oh, there's stuff on the shelves, perhaps. That's probably empty, though. Yeah, this door doesn't open for me. Maybe later. We'll check the shelves just to do it, but I don't think there's anything here. Yeah. Alright. Alright. Let's go to our next stop. We're going to need to go to engineering and cyber labs. Or, well, honestly, the last two items we need are there anyway. But we want to come here because we also have something important to the quest. Harold. Howdy, you must be the new guy. Name's Harold. I'm in charge of this little workshop here. Nice to meet you, Harold. I'm Mouse. So, are you looking for something specific or just looking around? We'll do the quest thing first. Tanner tells me you know of a way to restore power to the outpost to the north. He nods. Right. I remember taking a look at the power generator there a while back. I couldn't do anything about it back then because I didn't have this. He rummaged through the boxes that are on the table before producing something resembling an energy core. Here, it's a flux controller. If you insert it into the slot at the front of the power generator, it should get it running again. After that, you ought to be able to reactivate all those outposts. I'm afraid you'll have to do that manually, though. You see, each of them has a switch that cuts off the power in case of a hazard. Got it. Thanks, I'll give it a try. Alright, now let's deal with him. You have any stuff to trade? I got plenty, take a look. Alright, so from him, most important thing is lockpicks. I'm going to go ahead and buy all 10. So let's do that. So, alt-click, and then we'll balance it. 28 credits. Trade. Don't think he has anything else we want at the moment. Okay. Then we're going to move on down. And we're going to talk to whatever this guy's name is. I actually honestly forget. Ezra, that's right. I don't think you can talk to either of these guys. Oh, I might have missed a couple things back in the engineering. Just double check here. Okay. Let's go talk to Ezra. As he turns around to face you, you immediately notice that there's something off with this man. His face is pale and hairless. He is missing one of his eyes, and instead, wires protrude from his eye socket, traveling over the side of his face and disappearing back down the back of his neck. The other eye is almost colorless, with pupils so contracted that you question whether he can even see at all. He speaks with a calm and even voice. Hello, Mouse. I'm Ezra. I act as the head network administrator and chief of the entire engineering sector. What is it exactly that you do here? Oh, now I'm covering up the dialogue. Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry, guys. I'll solve this problem. Oh, now that's the game. I'm gonna put it there. I don't want to cover up the action points, which is why I didn't want to put it over in the right corner. We'll get it down. This is the first time I'm capturing the game, so hopefully this doesn't cover up stuff, but I'm going to look at the screen every so often and make sure we're not covering anything else. Me specifically, the cyber department or the engineering sector. Okay, well, we can ask them all these things. I met you. I make sure that all the parts of the station's internal network are communicating properly and securely, and that all the scripts are running as they should. I also oversee all the operations of the engineering sector. What about the cyber department? We maintain and improve the station's internal network. We write programs for all automated systems in the station. What does the engineering sector do in general? We construct, deconstruct, research, upgrade. Listing all the specific things we do would take too much of my time. Go around and talk to people working here. Might be willing to let you know the details of their projects. Alright, that's enough of that. We can ask him if he's blind. Ezra raises his hand slowly and extends it towards you. He holds two of his fingers in front of your face for a moment, each pointing at one of your eyes, before retracting the hand. I guess that's our answer. Let's barter with him. Okay, so what we want from him, we want one of these hacksaws, and we need an energy cell. We just need one, so type that in. Okay, let's auto set that. 37 credits. Trade. Okay, so we burned through a lot of our credits, but the important thing here is we now have a lot of the ways to get what we need for this quest. So let's go ahead and use this to charge up that. There we go. So that's nice and recharged. So we're all good to go. Let's go back into the engineering section because I know that there's a couple things I can interact with here, I think. Barrel here. People throwing away perfectly good things. Like electronic scraps. Fine now. This other barrel over here. Got some ammunition casings. Hey man, wanna watch the arena? Yesterday I watched Cranium Basher rip a gladiator's leg off and bash him with it. Hardcore. So this is like the man cave over here. I think he even says that if you talk to him enough. Alright, we can't really deal with anything else here. Alright. Trying to think if there's anything else I'm forgetting. We could get like a firebomb or something, but I don't think we necessarily... It would help with a couple of the fights. Alright, fine. We'll go to the agronomy pens. I think there's a guy we can trade with to get something. We got good throwing skills, so we might as well. We're going to be coming back often, too, back and forth. Anytime we take serious damage, we can kind of take advantage of some situations. We also have to go to the medical area, too. You come up to a rangy man with long hair who is cutting open the head of a large monstrous creature, formerly an untamable beast. As now but a stiff volunteer, you postmortem dissection to science. And soon enough, the man makes the final incision, after which he pushes his hand through to extract a single long, sharp spine. Greenish, sticky fluid dribbles out of the opening and all over the floor as the man wipes the spine clean before laying it aside. And that is the moment in which he notices you. Careful, you don't want to get in contact with its toxin. He returns to cutting through the creature as he talks to you. My name is Quentin. Don't bother introducing yourself, I know who you are. You're a mouse. And you just got admitted to the station. I shake your hand, but you can see why that wouldn't be a good idea. What kind of creature is that? It is a burrower. It's one nasty creature that digs around laying eggs all over the place. And again, my head's covering up stuff. Jeez, alright. They are more numerous deeper underground, but you can still find a few roaming the lower UnderRail and the surrounding caves. Now this is a good moment to know exactly where my head needs to be, so... let me move... I don't want to cover up the action point thing, but it might be okay. Alright, we eventually got it, maybe, to the ideal place. But you can still find a few roaming the lower UnderRail and the surrounding caves. I don't know if I said that or not. Alright, if you meet one, be careful. He'll spit thick, hard spines at you that are coated with poison. Did we already ask him this? What are you doing exactly? I'm collecting its poison glands. We can use those to produce other chemicals or to coat crossbow bolts. What's the room over there? We're growing mushrooms of different kinds there, of course, most notably the mind shrooms. They are one of the most potent and certainly one of the safest psionic catalysts. The largely popular psi boosters are made from mind shrooms, in case you didn't know. Okay, and that's more important if we are into psionics. Alright, do you have anything to trade? He stops working, gets the knife, sets the knife aside, and carefully removes his gloves. Of course. Okay, this is the thing that we're here to buy. A nice firebomb for us. We'll just buy one for now, but we'll probably buy more later. As a matter of fact, can we even afford it? Yeah, just barely, I think. It's gonna cost us 28 credits. Well, the magic mushrooms fuel the wizard powers. Okay. Alright, and then we're going to put this in our hotbar. So, if you're wondering what Q and W is for, that's our hotbar. We only have 2 slots now, but if we get a belt, we can extend how many slots we have and what have you. But we have throwing skills, so that will come in handy. Let's make one more stop here. And that's going to be the medical ward, which we were told to go to. No, I'm not really going to go through all this dialogue because psionics doesn't really matter to us. This is if you wanted to be into psionics. Hello, Mouse. First of all, let me congratulate you on admittance to our little station. I'm sure you'll love it here. It's good that you came. I actually wanted to talk to you about some of the results from all those tests we did earlier. What exactly? You see, test results show that you have certain amounts of psionic potential. High metachlorians. Off the scale. How much potential? I'm not exactly sure until I run some DNA tests, but it's there. Okay, let me just tell you a bit about the psionic potential first. It's a relatively rare and heritable complex genetic trait that triggers development of certain otherwise latent components in the brain. It allows the person to perform some subtle psionic invocations, such as influencing the minds of others, as well as some not so subtle ones, such as causing radical temperature changes and telekinetic manipulations. So I guess I'll go ahead and ask, but I am going to tell him no. So how do I realize this potential? You must first disable your psionic inhibitor. It's a neural structure in your brain that prevents you from accessing your psionic projection centers. We assume it was designed to prevent the infants from unwittingly harming themselves or those around them. There are ways to do this by extended meditation, but this can take years. We have more efficient methods nowadays. He reaches into his pocket and takes out a large red pill. A little bit of a reference here. This pill will take care of the inhibitor right away, but there's one side effect. I'm obliged to mention, the majority of users experience immediate and significant weakening of their immune system. And when I say majority, I mean everyone. Put it bluntly, it will severely affect your health. Therefore, the choice is yours. So, in other words, if we take the pill and swallow it specifically, we will learn Kung Fu, or Mind Fu. We will learn Mind Fu, but it will drop our maximum health. Forget it, Doc. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. This is pretty much the same way as saying no to him. Besides, it's your time to waste. I can't help you with that, though. I'm a doctor, not a monk. Come to me if you change your mind. Now it's time to loot everything. I shouldn't be in here without a mask. Well, maybe you need to scrub up a little bit. I'm pretty sure there's nothing in these foot lockers, but there is something in this little medical locker, which we will take. I know it's there for first aid, but we need to appropriate some items that are important for our success. And our success is their success. That's what I tell myself, so that I can sleep at night. Here's the gym where you can work out. Let's go. Oh! Whoops! You know what? I don't want to waste ammo. Ammo is so important in this game. Screw that. I will very quickly go through some of this stuff. I apologize for that. I didn't mean to click on that. Alright, blah, 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 blah. No, don't want it. End dialogue. Okay. Okay, what I meant to do is come over here and punch it. There you go. We got our practice by punching the thing. Alright. What's your macro? I don't even know what that means, buddy. Alright, let's go get the medical stuff. We already know there's nothing in the foot locker, so I'm not going to really bother with that. Gimme. Okay. One thing I do want to do is I want to put this and this in my hotbar for now. We probably will remove it. I also want the flare in my hotbar, and that's going to be important later. I don't think anything else we really need in there right now. Alright, we are more or less prepared for the quest at hand. So we need to go down to the cave tunnel exit and docks. We aren't going to need to talk our way through anything, so I am going to go ahead and put our outfit on. Here it is. So we do have some resistances. There's also an armor penalty. I forget all what it does. It does make your stealth worse. I'm sure there's a handful of other things it does. But look at that, we're all stylish now. We got our little black leather coat. It's almost like we're right back into Deus Ex, huh? Oh, Mouse, got to finally meet you. I'm Malcolm. How can I help you? I need to get out into the caves. You didn't get your access card yet, right? Yeah, it should be around here somewhere. He starts looking through the drawers. There it is. He produces a red access card and passes it to you. Now listen here. This is the procedure. When you want to leave, you let me know and I'll open the inner gate. You then step into the transition room. Then I close the inner gate and open the outer gate and off you go. Alright, now, when you want to get back in, use the card I gave you on the console outside. Stand in front of the camera so I can confirm it's you. Then I'll open the outer gate. Earlier, we used to do bioscanning every time someone passed, but since no one ever showed up positive, it became a nuisance. What if I do contract a disease? Then be kind enough to inform me so I can activate the turrets. They'll shred you to pieces, we'll burn the remains, and everything's good. He chuckles. Just kidding. Or am I? Alright, let's get out of here. Open the gate, please. I'm off to the caves. He nods. Oh, and there's a tip for you. If you find yourself surrounded by rat hounds, use flares to scare them away. They'll be back, though, so try not to stick around. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. You're good to go. That's why we have the flares ready to go. If we ever get surrounded by the rat hounds, we can drop one of those flares, and it will give us a turn's reprieve. It'll also give us a light, which I think makes it easier to hit things. Okay, here we go. Let's go talk to old Jonas first. I might not talk all the stuff he has to say. First off, I've been reading a lot, and we want to get into the action here. So, an old man wearing an old coat, old pants, and old boots introduces himself with an amiable smile. Oh, it's young Mouse. Off to do some hunting? Okay, I'm here. I hear you are very knowledgeable of the tunnels, and I could use some advice. Been crawling through them tunnels all my life. What do you want to know? What can you tell me about the abandoned outposts nearby? The nearest one is just north of the Crossroad Watch. They stretch to the east and to the west from there. They were built by Omega Station, but are somewhat in ruins since we put them out of business. Plenty of rat hounds there now. Oh, if you're heading there, could you do me a favor? I was scavenging near those outposts a while back, and I think I lost my old digital watch there. It was about this big and made of metal. It doesn't have a strap, so I keep it in my pocket. It must have fallen out somewhere. Could you keep an eye out for it? If you bring it back, I'll make you a good bargain for it. I'll keep a lookout, but I can't make any promises. That's all I ask. Alright. See you later, old geezer. Alright, let's get our loot on. Okay, we got a dirty rag, some gasoline, and a throwing net. The throwing net will come in handy. So we're going to go ahead and put that on our other hotbar slot. Another throwing weapon, more or less. Got some barrels here. Oops, I accidentally hit. Okay. Another locker I missed. That. That's empty. The rocks we can't clear. I'm just going to look around, make sure we get everything. Searching thoroughly is going to really help out in this game. Make sure you pick every bit of information and every bit of loot clean. Because remember, we get experience predominantly by getting oddities, and you find oddities. As you approach the passage, you can hear faint squeaking sounds coming from up ahead, and a pair of red beady eyes blinking in and out of the darkness. Ooh, that's foreboding. I wonder what's over there. I don't think there's anything else in this area. We'll be going this way in the future, so we'll loot up that side next time we pass through here. Let's go to the area of our quest. Alright, before I go anywhere, let's go a little bit of a discussion of what we got. So, oh, well, I already went in. Now, the weapon I have, the 44, is really powerful. It does 10 to 45 damage, which is pretty high at this stage of the game. If we can crit on top of that, it's going to be pretty good for us. Alright, there's our first enemy, a rat hound. And we have already initiated combat. Now, we just had an initiative roll-off. It rolled a 21 plus a 3. I rolled a 22 plus 13. So I win the initiative, I get to go first. So I have to keep that in mind as far as everything goes. So if I shot at him right now, I'd have a 53% chance to hit him. I hope you guys can see all that. But if I move up a little bit... Oh, okay, I should go over some of the mechanics here. So you have both movement points and action points. Now my head is covering up that, unfortunately, but I have to have something get covered up, and that's going to be the thing that gets covered up. Exactly what T12 said. 44 is also very slow and expensive. The rounds are expensive, and it takes a lot of action points to fire it, which, if I open up the inventory, we can see that. It cost me 32 action points to fire. So one thing you guys cannot see is, as I'm hovering over this, it is giving me how many points it would cost me to do the various things. So I have 30 movement points, at least I think so. Maybe I only have 29. Yeah, I have 29 movement points, and I have 50 action points. If I were to fire right now, it would cost me 31. Now I know that the inventory said 32. Remember, agility lowers that because it's a pistol. So we got a little bit of a reduction there. Not a ton, but a little bit. And I would have 19 left over. So that's everything that is being told to me in the text you can't read. But also you have the bar to go off of. So it's flashing right now with what's going to be used up. So the movement points are in yellow. The action points are in green. So action points are going to be how you do actions. Movement points could be used for movement, but action points could be used for movement as well. So if you see as I move here, this little line is drawn. The yellow part would be me using the movement points. The green part is me using action points to move. So that's kind of how that works. So we're going to walk up as close as we can. We're going to fire off our round. We're going to use our aimed shot. 76, 50%. There's another rat hound off to the side there. We're probably going to get swarmed here. Hopefully this lands. It did land. I didn't kill him. Son of a bitch. All right, now we're going to run away. Alright, he did get an attack off of me. We're going to try and punch him to death because he's almost dead. There, he's dead.